Hello and welcome. This is Teresa, and thanks for joining my live stream. If you're here for the live stream, nobody's here right now, but or if you're watching the replay, welcome. Thanks for joining. And this is Saturday Night Play with piles of yumminess. But what is this that I have on my desk? It's liquid. It's coffee. It's not a cup of coffee, but it's coffee. And I did a batch of coffee like this because it's easier to do it like this than to use my spray bottle, which is like this. This is hard on my finger, and it's more of a mess on my desk. So today I took my coffee and my handy dandy, where is it? Just a minute. My handy dandy paintbrush that my husband brought home to me one day. And I was like, oh, that is just perfect. Hi, Bonnie, welcome. That is just perfect for my craft room and for my vintage art. So I use the coffee in here and the paintbrush here to make piles of yummy goodness. Let's take a look. First of all, and I wanted to import a picture. Well, there's a picture of my coffee dying. Hello, Michelle, welcome. There's a picture on my IG of my coffee dye rack. So I want to share a little bit of how I get these papers. I mail a lot of stuff out. Sometimes it's because I'm selling on Facebook sell groups, from my Ko-fi shop, from my YouTube if I do a de-stash on my YouTube channel, or sometimes it's Happy Mail. And when I do that, I print out a label from Pirate Ship. And the label prints onto half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Well, there's all this paper left, and in the past there have been times when I've just thrown it away because I can't handle the clutter. I don't have a place for everything, and everything has its place. I do have a place for everything that I want to keep, and that has its place. But sometimes just, random scraps of paper are a problem. They get on my OCD. I'm up to coffee dyeing, Michelle. And so finally I started coffee dyeing these, and OMG, it opened up a whole lot of fun. Last time I did this, because I'll let them build up over on the side of my desk for a little bit, and these I just cut them down into like what I thought would be good sizes for backings on journal cards or tags. And so these I'm just going to leave big like this for now, and that's part of my yummy goodness. Let's look at the next pile. The next thing is that I thought today that I might want to make a journal, an envelope journal. And I thought to myself, boy, I don't like having to collage onto an envelope journal and try to figure out this line and this line. Sometimes I will pull them apart and just do big areas at once. I have tried the idea of where you you cut this out, and then you figure out where this window is, and you cut the window out, and then you lay it down and glue it. Yeah, none of that really appeals to me 100%. So today I said to myself, well, why don't you just coffee dye the envelope, Teresa? And then if I want to put a little bit of paper here or here or wherever, and I don't want to fill in the rest, I'm going to be happy, because while I don't like white, I'm okay with coffee dyed. I actually love coffee dyed. I love the way all of these papers fill when they're coffee dyed. I just love it. What is it about that? I don't know. But this is very satisfying. Just love it. So now I can make a cool envelope journal with these coffee dyed envelopes. And I don't have to worry about where I put my embellishment, where I cover with paper. So I've got several different styles of envelopes, and I'm going to spend most of the time just polka dots. Is that you saying that you kind of like this? I got these from Amazon. There were others that were like had some cool Christmas colors, but I decided that I didn't want to buy 3 different packs, so I just bought the ones that were neutral, and then I can add Christmas green, red, whatever to it on my own. Which reminds me, one moment please, I have to do something before I forget. I had decided to take out my candy apple red. Is that what I want? Yeah. I thought I had a different red. That's abandoned coral. Okay, well, that should be fine for Christmas. I was like, I'm going to start doing some inking in red instead of the browns that I use for the Christmas holiday. I'm just going to do this real quick to remind myself that I want to do this. Let's see what it looks like on an envelope. I'm going to have to get myself a jobber to allocate. Yeah, let's just do that. The red. There we go. It's not quite the red I want, but it'll do. I should get my Stampin' Up! Red out. I've got a good Christmas Stampin' Up! Red. Maybe I'll remember to do that later. I'll put that right up there to help remind me. So that's my second pile of yumminess to share with you. It gets better. Hang tight. So this is my next pile of yumminess. Hello, Zippy. Welcome. Zippy, what's your real name? I'm trying to see what your picture looks like. It looks festive, whatever it is. Okay, so last night I thought, I need to get into my cupboard and start taking out some of my antique books and start harvesting them so that I'll start using them. So I took out this book. Bonnie, you may want to cover your eyes. This is, it has a copyright date on it of MDCCXL. So 1,000 plus 500 is 1,500, plus 100 is 1,600, plus another 100 is 1,700, plus 10, let's see, no, this is actually minus 10 because it's before a bigger number, so, and this is 50. I see a gnat on my monitor. If it holds still, I'm going to kill it. Anyways, that would equal 40. So this is 1,740. This is a 1,700. Now I'm going to have to stalk her. 1,740 is this, and I think it's an Italian book because I always bought Italian, but once in a while I may have thrown a French book in there. But this is so yummy, so very yummy, and I started harvesting it last night. And I really do try hard to retain the cover, especially this one, because I bought it because of this bumpiness on here. But as I was trying to cut the strings last night, I did cut into the, oh Lord, the word escaped me, the binding. So I will probably, I'm going to try not to do that any worse than what it is. And then I will come up with a way to Mod Podge that or something and I will embrace this. That's what I do for my style of junk journaling. Yep. No, I'm harvesting it because I love the pages. So, I've taken these pages out. This particular book has a huge border, and I typically like to play with the text. So, now for my next pile of yummy goodness. Now, I try to keep the folios intact. And so then I can put them in a journal and use them in a journal. So like this folio is intact, and I can put that inside of a journal and just sew it in like I would the other pages. And then because these pages are so big, I'd end up folding these in and whatever so that it will fit inside of the journal. I love to use this stuff in journals. And this paper, this is rag paper. You can feel, it feels like cotton. It is so sturdy. Watch when I tear it. It's not brittle. I just tear it and it tears like a dream. See that? It's not brittle. It does not fall apart. It just does what I want it to do. I love that. So here I've got these end pieces, so to speak, these blank strips. Am I going to throw those away? No, I'm not going to throw those away. I'm going to make something with them. And this is what I've done. I made labels. So these are just little blank labels that I made. And these are others that I stamped that aren't so blank. So these will be a lot of fun, and I kept that edge there. That's the edge where it gets sewn in, and I just love that. That's me. I love it. So there's all that, and I took some of it and I played with some of it. No, I didn't. I stand corrected. I played with my labels. These are labels that I made myself, that I stamped myself, either on paper or something else, and I just made some label clusters. But this just shows how one thing led to another. I don't know, I used some gesso. Yep. Then I could put that on there like that, and that would look super cool. But that's why I have all these little, these are partially, you could consider them finished elements that are in my little ephemera box. And these are not really finished elements. You could consider them finished elements. I'm gonna continue to think out a way to call this, because I'm going into Defemer Ember, and it's the theme of Defemer Ember this year is compartmental ephemera. I think that's what it's called. Compartmental ephemera. Where's my journal? I wrote it down. Defemer Ember. Compartmental making is what it's called, I guess. I don't think Bonnie could either, Zippy. I really don't think so. But that's okay. That's okay. Aww. I would love to do that, Michelle. I mean, I would love to have a business doing that, because I would just go to work smiling every day. Anyways, compartmental making. Components that can be small, versatile pieces that can be later be turned into finished ephemera. This concept will be combined with prompts. So the thing is that sometimes these pieces are considered finished ephemera. It's what is that word? It is. Me too. I do that too. Some of the books at Dollar Tree make some of the best altered books. I love them. And you only have to pay $1.25. You know that I did not pay $1.25 for that book, because not only is it a 1700 books and it 1700s book, but it came from Italy. So, I didn't pay $1.25 for it. Okay, well, there's that. I was just tidying up my stuff today. Got a lot of that tidying up to do. That's what December thingy means. Uh-huh. Yep. Some pages because I'm not ripping my... Well, you don't have to rip any books, Bonnie, because I sent you some pages. Books are $1.50 or $1.75 now. Yeesh. You're welcome, Bonnie. So I'm going to put these in here with my other labels. This is my Tim Holtz snippets. And then some of these labels are like digitals or real labels. These are real labels. This doesn't go in here. Some of these are labels that I've made. Well, then these are labels that I've made. Just more Tim Holtz stuff. This is more labels that I've made with some craft cardstock that yeah. I love carrying fancy books. Okay, so that goes in my kind of my label drawer. That is in my Michael's. So these two little tins, this has my little ephemera, and this has some tickets that I have. I don't need a lot of tickets, so this box is perfectly big enough for me for tickets. If I end up with more tickets than that, then I don't need them. Now I have a whole roll of these tickets that I bought from Amazon, but the roll is in my storage because I don't need all of them. That's my little ephemera. My Tim Holtz little words go in here. Some more snippets. These are some more kind of like labels that I made on hemp fabric. And then who knows what else I've got in here. This is kind of buried because this is field notes. I'm not in that mood right now. I'm not doing field notes. Tomorrow is Sunday. Monday, my Christmas words come in like this, only they're Christmas. Can't wait for that. This is just some little odds and ends. I have it labeled tag toppers and cluster pieces. So if I end up with a little piece of ribbon, I stick it in here. Oh, look at my beads I made. I made beads. Because I had some scraps of Amazon packing paper on my desk. Trying to grab them all. Okay. These are my beads. So they have nice little holes in them. And do I have any string? So can take some string. don't know that I want to unwrap that. It's kind of cool the way it is. Let's see if I can find something else. Oh, I know what I got. Let's use some paper beads. Amazon packing paper. That, oh, not all of it. Some of it is like some white packing paper that came in Amazon packages that I had made painty papers out of. And I put some little pieces of fabric scraps around them to give them some texture. So there's some with some cheesecloth on them, some with some lace. One has a piece of ticking on it. You had a bedtime story? What? When was this bedtime story shared? Last night in April's chat? Maybe? Now you got my curiosity going. See, isn't that cute? OMG. Look at my little beads. My husband were in here, he'd go, you are nuts. Just completely nuts. I don't want to knot that because it's not going to stay like that. Oh. I don't blame her. It's not like I get scared. Oh my gosh. If you saw my dreams that I have at night, that's enough. I have some weird dreams sometimes. No, that's cute. It's almost like a wreath. Wonder if I could put some green stuff around it and make it look like a wreath, but that's not what it's for. You were falling asleep, so it was that boring to you. Okay, well, that is what I have for tonight. I can't think of anything else that I've been doing today to share with you. I got all my journals out yesterday. Hi, April. I was just being told about the scary story that you read a couple nights ago. And I was sharing my beads, and I was sharing my my piles of yumminess. So I'll just throw them on here real quick. This is my 1700s book pages. This is my pile of envelopes, and there's some bags in here. There's vellum envelopes and stuff that has been coffee dyed. I got myself a big old thing of coffee mix here, and I went to town. And just some papers. Oh, these I actually did with my ink. I was having some intense insomnia last week. I was going to make an envelope journal. And this is my Italian book, my 1700s Italian book that I took out last night and started harvesting. Yep, right there. Can't wait to get all these pages out of it. I'm going to make a journal out of this puppy. And then I was showing my labels. This is my label drawer with my labels that I made out of that paper. Made some like that. I made some like this with the Tim Holtz stamp set. And as soon as I get my Christmas words, because I ordered the Christmas words, I'll be using those pretty soon too. That'll be fun. You know, April, you were talking about how you knew that some people have drawers that they just lay their stuff in. And I think you were wondering out loud, or maybe even saying that that didn't seem like a good idea to you because all this stuff is laying in here willy-nilly, which it's true, it is. But mine isn't so willy-nilly. I have things like grouped together. This is my botanical drawer. So these are all my Edith Holden. And then I have I have a Reader's Digest book in here, but they're not all in here. This is just a sampling, because for one thing they wouldn't all fit. Oh, and you know, I'm gonna get rid of this because I don't want to do it anymore. But you were talking about Stampin' Up! Catalogs the other day. And not this type, but the other type. Well, actually it was this type. So I would take these and I would fold these in half. Yeah, I don't do that. Mine's all organized and sorted. I would take these and I would turn these into journals. So repurpose, because you know, when you're in Stampin' Up, you get a lot of catalogs. I might keep this actually because this has got Christmas images that I might want to. I was just looking to see. Let me just tell you how indoctrinated I was with Stampin' Up. I don't know why that was in my botanical drawer, by the way. My system is not perfect. So I'll just show you. No, I don't think I have that one. I have these. In fact, I have some of these on my desk right now. See? Right there. I have this stamp set. Well, I don't anymore. I sold them. I had that paper. I had almost all of the Stampin' Up! Markers. I've had that ribbon. So when I say I have it, that means I've had it. None of those appealed to me. I had this set, Barnes set. I even have some of these die cuts. Sure, yeah. Get me your address and you can have this. Didn't have any of those. I had this stamp set. I had all this paper. I even have some of that ribbon still. pretty sure I had that stamp set. Free Braille paper. Where'd you get free Braille paper from? I've thought about when in Idaho going to the Boise Home for the Blind or Society of the Blind, something like that, and see if they have any old books. I didn't have that one. I don't usually buy, you know, like the dog, cat, and cutesy type stamp sets. I didn't have that one. I didn't have this. I did have this one, but that's because at one point it was a celebration, and I think I got it for free. Okay. Didn't have any of those. I did have this. Oh, I did have this one. This was one of my favorites. That bird, that fat bird. So when I sell my dies, I just make people, and my punches, I make them pay for the postage. And if you're giving them away for free, somebody wants them, have them pay for the postage. It's worth it. I still have these leaves. I have these. I have this one, or had it. I don't really know which ones I still have. Of course, I don't do Halloween, so I never bought any of that stuff. I've had that one. I had that stuff. I had those. I still have the white. I might have all three colors still. They're pearlized enamel effects. I had that paper. I had this set. That was my style. See the check mark? I used to check mark everything in the catalog that I had. I still have this one. I used this one this year. I had this one. I was actually disappointed in myself that I didn't check to see if I had more Christmas sets before I left Idaho. I only have 2 sets with me, maybe 3. One is a word set, and the other is that, is this one right here. And it's been so long I can't remember how to stamp these right. I need to experiment with it. I had that one. I still have those, what do they call them, trinkets? I still have those in my little charm box. I wish they still carried this linen thread. I looked for it the other day and didn't see it. If they still carried this linen thread, I would buy that from you, April. I got my brushes from Amazon, I think. Okay, so Michelle, send me your address and I'll send you this. Doesn't have the staple anymore, I don't think. Nope. But it's got 23 through 66 of the pages, and I'll send that to you. I'm going to fold it like this so that I can put it in my so that it'll fit in this envelope. If you see that linen thread go on clearance or on sale or something, April, if you'd let me know, I'd buy it from you. So I think if I do it like that, it'll only cost like a couple bucks for postage. I'm gonna have to do this because if it's too bulky, they'll charge me more for postage. So I'll just have this over to the side. For when you get me your address. And then I think it only cost me 2 stamps for that, because I sent something, let me see. Well, it's 3.1 ounces, so I'll have Jeff take it into the post guide, because over 2, it's probably going to be 3 stamps. Okay, where am I going to put this so that I know where I'm going to put it. Up here, because this is my mail out stuff up here. Okay, so, well, that's good because that gave me some more room in here. Sorry, I got to make sure I don't have anything more. This is all my Reader's Digest Botanical, Edith Holden. These are my Ideal books are in here. This is stupid. Why do I have that? I don't need that. I've got some periodicals mixed in here. These are not supposed to be in here. They're supposed to be in my periodical. Oh, Passion for Art. I'm trying to remember your name. Books are cheaper. Ask for book rate. Okay. Thanks. I'll let Jeff know that. I know you told me your name the other day. All of this is periodical. Okay. So this goes back in here. And then this is periodical. And this sucker is getting full. Hi, Jessica. So most of this I need. Now this one's a little bit more messier because this has newspaper clippings in it. And it kind of stinks. This drawer kind of stinks musty like, because I've got some old Italian, oh, this is heavy. Italian art book stuff in here. I've got my Ideal stuff. This is an old newspaper that my sister sent me. It was all packaged up nice and they only sell it for $1. Man, this plastic covering thing probably cost them 50 cents. I need to come up with an idea to use some of this stuff. Get it aired out. It's stinky. But when you deal with old papers like this, sometimes you have to deal with the stinky. This is from a book. This is from, oh, it's from a Reader's Digest. That's why it's in here. Reader's Digest is a periodical in my book. So I have no idea why I had this silly thing. That's going in the trash. I don't use that kind of stuff. These are old magazines. When I do glue book and stuff, I do it with this old magazine stuff. Okay, that's pretty full. I can't buy any more magazines. Papers. Oh, from the mildew or something. It bothers your allergies. Well, back when, before I started doing junk journaling, my OCD would not let me do this. I mean, I'm very sensitive to touching things and stuff, but now my brain has rewired, and that's not a problem for me. I don't like that musty smell, and I keep going through my stuff to make sure there's nothing that is like really moldy, that looks suspicious or anything. And so if I don't see anything that looks suspicious, I don't throw it out. But I am going to have to go through that drawer and start using some of that stuff. Make a master board or something. I might have to throw some of it out, because that's the periodical spot. And once it gets too full, that's too much for me. I don't want any more. Here is this is my Florentine and wallpaper. So it's a little untidy, but it works just fine. Now see, something's making me cough. So, but this stuff is precious. I mean, this is vintage wallpaper. So I don't typically throw away the scraps for this kind of stuff. And my Florentine papers, most of it is from Italy. Some of it's from California. I bought this from a gal in California. I bought that one from a gal in California. But all of these are from Italy. And then I bought the wallpaper, the vintage wallpaper, off of Etsy. So I've got some really fun pieces of wallpaper. This is one of my favorites. It usually goes into, I don't know that it totally goes into hoard mode, because I'll take a full piece like this and I mean, that's not a full piece, but I'll take this and I'll fold it in half and make it into a folio for a signature in a journal. Same thing, I've even taken a whole big piece of this. I might tear that off and turn this into a signature for a tall journal, which I just might do because I'm getting ready to make a Christmas tall journal. And it's using a lot of pink in it, so to kind of like emulate retro Christmas when they used more pink than Christmas red. Do I have it already? Yep. So yeah, there's a lot of pinks in this. And I haven't added any extra pages in it yet, like straw paper or wallpaper or anything. So, where'd that wallpaper go? That would look nice with that. I think I'm going to do that, actually. And then that goes right back into that drawer. I need to tidy up this end. And then this straw paper that I have, I might just use this instead. This is from Italy, and she doesn't have any more of these, so I'm going to be circumspect with them, as in hoard. So these have a napkin on the inside. And so I save these and I stamp them. Do you show your work on social media, Jessica? So I need there. And this would be good actually to reinforce it. So I'm going to reinforce it here. Ugh. That is awesome, April. Congratulations. I was using my my sticker ephemera holder earlier. I don't know if you've seen this yet, April. You probably have, but I have one of these, maybe two. I know I have one because the one's right in front of me, but it comes with these sheets, and like this one has 4, and you load from the top, and then like this one has 2, and you load from the top. Some of them load from the side. And then there are some that is just 1, and you load from the top. That one's hard to get out. So imagine, April, how much of your small things, like I know you have that nice little cubby thing in front of you that you were organizing your tickets in, but imagine how many of the small things like that you could put in here. I mean, even with the amount of tickets that you showed in that one container, you could probably get all of them in 3, maybe 4 of these sheets, and then you could put labels in here, and then you could put stickers in here, and if you could find your bingo cards, sorry, couldn't say that without laughing. You could put your bingo cards in here. If you've got like guest checks, you could put guest checks in here. If you've got time cards, you probably couldn't put them in here unless you trimmed them off, because I think the time cards are too tall for this. But like, say you could put a supply of small index cards in here, and you could put large index cards in here. I like to coffee dye or tea dye mine ahead of time. No, she would not. You found your bingo cards. Oh my gosh, where were they? I'm dying to know where they were at. She's not. No, you wouldn't lose it, because it's in your trolley, in your ephemera spot on your trolley. So the bottom shelf of my one trolley is ephemera, and then I have my punches and some other stuff, and then I have in the top, I have my Everything Mary container. This is my Everything Mary container, and it has all the things that I use all the time. My scissors, my glues, my shading brushes, different tools, big tools, my tear rollers, my book weight, my other tools, my tiny attacher. This helps me to know where everything is. And that goes on the top shelf of my and then beside it is where I put my small scoreboard and this thing, which I never use, and my quilt roller. And then on the other side of my Everything Martha is my big ephemera book. So this is for my big stuff. And I use those envelopes that Carrie talks about a lot. Oh, that's cool. I like the idea of using crocheted baskets. Yeah, I'm all for anytime you can make your own thing for organizational items. That, to me, that is the best way. Yep, and then my other trolley that's beside me has my big scoreboard on the top, and my inks and all those sprays and alcohol inks and all of that stuff on the top. And then it has my wipes and my Kleenex and I use these containers because they stack so nicely. Well, yeah, I think I have it a little bit too. But you can only have it out there where you can see it to some degree. That's why everything is labeled. And it's also, I only use see-through containers. And I go through my stuff. Sometimes when I don't feel crafty, I'll go through my stuff. Ha! I do have another one. I thought I had another one. So on the bottom of this trolley is my stamps. And so I put my clear stamps in this one. So I had another zipper one. So anything that's an acrylic stamp is in there. And then my Tim Holtz little tiny stamp things. And I have some really super old Stampin' Up! Stamps. But these don't stick to anything anymore. So they all go in this little Stampin' Up! Tin. Because anytime Stampin' Up! Came out with a tin when I was doing Stampin' Up!, I bought it. Then my foam stamps are in this Ziploc baggie. And that's on one side of the cart. And then on the other side of the cart is the other bin. And I have my Tim Holtz stamps and my Stampin' Up! Stamps that I chose to keep. So I chose to keep the Praiseworthy Prose. That's an oldie. Watercolor Shapes. Perfectly Detailed. Quiet Meadow. I love those kinds of Stampin' Up! Stamps. This is an oldie because it's got the green. Eclectic Expressions. So I have Bottled Happiness, which is like the Christmas one that I have. Verdant Garden. Stacked Stone. Ranunculus Romance. One of my very, very favorites is, what is this called? Brilliant Butterflies? Butterfly Brilliance. I cut mine up. This was a one-piece stamp, but I cut mine up. Playful Background. That's an oldie. This is the Pine Cones. It's kind of old. Crackle Paint, one of my favorites. The Stitchery set. And tailor-made. Is this tailor-made? No, that's in the wrong place. This is called Making Plans. I think I'm going to get rid of that. I never use it. Never. But you know, as soon as I get rid of it, I'll want it for something. It's the problem. I gotta catch up with the chat. Yeah, I think you would be surprised, Michelle, if you got started on it, because once you get in the zone, it's fun. All I have is the Stampin' Up! Mini. I got rid of my Big Shot. But the thing is now I have more room in this trailer than the other trailer. The other trailer, I didn't have any room. I mean comparatively. So I do have the little mini, but it doesn't, you know, work for all of my, doesn't work for all of my dies and all of my embossing folders, which is a bummer. So you guys are talking about stuff like this right now. So I have acrylic drawers for that kind of stuff. And I got on a kick where I thought it would be cool to have mica powders. I have 2 drawers of these mica powders, and I don't touch them. I don't use them at all. So I think they need to go bye-bye. And so this is all my embossing powders. My dauber for Versamark. My Versamark is in here. My embossing buddy. And then, yep, I have all 3 colors. The red, the white, and the black. Is this black? Yep, black. And then my glossy accents are real handy. I could use them instead of my nail polish. I don't know why I always divert to the nail. Even some of these stupid mica powders are here. I mean, I was perfectly content with just using my brushes. So I do not know why I bought that big box of Artesia mica powders. Here's some of my old Fantastic ink. This stuff is great to add with alcohol and put it in your little spray. Oh, let me see if I got one handy. Yeah. So Stampin' Up! Used to have these. I don't know if they still have them or not, April. But you put alcohol in here and then you put some ink, like this gold ink in there. And then it has a spray up here. I think this is, oh, this is empty. Sometimes I just put water in them. I hang up my ribbons, but I actually took them down the other day. But like on my wall hanging, let me show you my wall hanging real quick. So that's my hanging organizer right there. And I have S hooks up there. So at the top is my mailing stuff, and then my packing papers, and then there's those S hooks hanging off the side, and they have my laces, and then that one has my dies. So there's 2 containers, one for Stampin' Up! Dies and one for Tim Holtz dies, and some other Stampin' Up! There's about 3 Stampin' Up! Sets, and then my envelope maker and my extra tissue, and then the bottom pocket is my Christmas. I love all my stuff too. I don't know why we buy half the stuff we buy, Bonnie, but these things are awesome. And so Stampin' Up! Used to sell this copper one and this gold one and this pearl one and maybe some others. And you mix them with alcohol, and they are so fun to spray onto your projects. So my whole box holds 3 of these long drawers, and then 2 of these short drawers, and so I can look in there and I can see where everything is and pull it out. Whoops. Oh, phooey. But if anybody wants these, I'll probably keep like a couple, like the white. But if anybody wants these Artesia mica powders, I would give them to you for postage. Because they're taking up 2 of my drawers. And I don't like that. And this is my charm container. And I have all my Stampin' Up! Bling in here. These little rock things were popular at one time. And then there's these little pebble ones. These are cool. I don't think Stampin' Up! Has them anymore. But let's see. I got my dragonflies. Oh, you know, I don't work with mica powders enough to really explain them. Bonnie or April, can you explain them? Here's those open leaves, plus some other leaves that Stampin' Up! Used to carry. So, I think you can, okay, well, I use brushos, so I'll just describe how I use brushos. So brushos, I would sprinkle them on paper and then spray it with water. But you got to be careful because the water will, it's dust, and the water will cause the dust to disperse. Look, just looking to see what other, I have pom-poms from my Stampin' Up! Days. Oh, these little flowers. I think These daisies might have been. I don't know for sure. I think they were Stampin' Up. I have tons of these acorns from Stampin' Up days. And then I put all my sequins in here. Lord, I used to buy it all. Here's some black and white brads that Stampin' Up used to have. There's the white ones, and there's the black ones. Jiminy Christmas. This brings back memories. Oh man. Seems like I always have these things all over the place. They're like little bubbles for shaker cards. But I never use much of this because I really don't like to make shaker cards. So I did it, you know, every once in a while. But I just have never enjoyed making shaker cards. Get off my finger. I do need to use bling more, I can see that. Now, taking like this baggie here, which had something in it, and we get these all the time when we buy things, taking this and running a few stitches around it and throwing some sequins in there and turning that into a shaker element in my journal, yes, I would love the heck out of that. But making shaker cards, nope, I don't, never did really enjoy it. I did it just to see if I could, but I didn't enjoy it. I used to like to buy this kind of thing all the time for daubers. Can't remember how I stored it. I feel like I stored them some other way too, but I can't remember right now. Anyways, that was just a little walk down memory lane. Oh, this is where I put them. I still have all these wood things. I've been taking these and using a wood engraving tool and putting little dots on them. Look kind of cool. I've had these for so long, and I really hate these. They're gingerbread and peppermint acrylic shapes. I do not like these at all because they just don't speak to me. I used them a little bit this year, and I don't enjoy it. They don't speak to me. Okay, so I'm going to continue to work with this piece to see what I'm going to do with it. And that will be my straw paper piece. Yeah. And other than that, I'm ready to sign off. Oh my gosh. I've been on for 79 minutes. Didn't even seem like that long. Thanks guys for hanging out, and I'm just catching up with the chat a little bit more. I saw that envelope on Michelle's comment and I was like, what is that envelope? Where did that come from? But she's so good at using emojis. Have so much stuff to make shakers. I never used Stampin' Up shaker stuff. Yep, most of my stuff for that kind of thing is Stampin' Up! Because I did save a lot of that stuff. Oh, here's one more thing that I'm going to mention before I go. I have been starting to take my scraps, because I have some big scrap pieces, and sewing them together. That was the back side. Thank you, Teresa, for the company. I'm up 4 days. I'm bored. Oh, you're off for 4 days. So you're ready to go back to work, huh, Bonnie? And Michelle? Okay, you can't find me to message. I think I'm Teresa Hayes. Let me look. Get out of my way. I'll tell you how you can message me. That'll be easy. You can do it on my group. Let me find it. Because my regular one is hidden. Because I'm a virtual bookkeeper and I don't want clients going on my Facebook page. It's none of their business. Let me find it. Visit. Share. Copy link. Go back here. So, okay, you're okay with being bored then, is what you're telling me. So I think what you were saying to me, Michelle, is I can click on you, go to channel, but I can't message you that way. Wow, you use Weebly. I used to use Weebly for Stampin' Up. Contact. Click here. That's just your email, though. Oh, well. Yeah, you can find me. You can find me from that group. Bonnie's in there. Both Bonnies are in there, actually, now that I think of it. So anyways, this is something I'm experimenting with. I'm not recommending it because now that I've got it, I looked at it the other day and I was like, what am I going to do with it? But I am going to continue to do this and see what might happen. Nothing else. It's a way to organize my scraps. I don't know. And what's nice about it's a public group, so you don't even have to join. It's just a place that I put up so folks could share their art. That's the only reason I did it. I don't actively promote it. Oh, there you are. Accept. And hi. Okay. I see ya. Now you can send me your address. Yeah, I don't do collaborations and stuff like some groups do. And if anybody were to, somebody came on and started trying to sell on it, I just block them. I'm like, you're out of here. That's not what this is for. It's very low-key, easy-going. But it was like a commercial advertisement. And it kind of did have to do with crafting, but to me it's a bit arrogant for somebody to just jump onto somebody's group and start trying to sell their crap. So I've been a Facebook group administrator for years, and I have a very strict way of thinking how things should go. Yeah. It's for people to post their stuff and have fun, not to be solicited to. So I will leave you guys alone and see you in the next video, I hope. Who's rude? Me? Yeah, you bet. Who's rude, Bonnie? I am, how old am I? I'm 64 years old. So I have the right to be grumpy. Okay, bye. We'll see you guys later. Take care. I'll see you tonight probably, April. I thought that's what you meant. Okay.